The Carolina Hurricanes officially have a new general manager and head coach. They've hired Don Waddell to be president and general manager, and Rod Brind'Amour will be the new head coach. We're going to discuss both of these hires coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so you don't miss anything. So the Carolina Hurricanes have their vacant positions filled with general manager and head coaching positions being determined and announced today. So Rod Brind'Amour will be the new head coach and Don Waddell will be the president and general manager. Now obviously both of these guys have already been working with the Hurricanes organization, so both hires come internally. Rod Brind'Amour has been an assistant coach for the last number of years, and Waddell has ended up being team president, recently became acting general manager while their search began. And as time's gone on here, it's kind of looked more and more like this is likely how it was going to go down. So this type of hire for both of these positions do not come at really any surprise to me. I'm not sure how many of you viewers feel out there. Are any of you surprised at the guys they've hired? The way things were going with owner Tom Dundon, just kind of, like I said, not much of a surprise. From what reports have been released out there, it looks as though the Hurricanes did discuss the general manager position with many different candidates. And it looks as though many of them that talked to Dundon ended up dropping their names out of the race and didn't seem to be interested. One of the key things appeared to be the salary being offered. That was certainly one piece of it. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Tom Dundon appears to be very much a control freak and wants to have a general manager who's basically going to run every decision by him. At least that's how it sounds. He wants to be very hands-on, which is fine, but it looks as though he's going to be very involved, and a lot of guys with experience or we're used to working for other clubs probably want a little bit more of their own say, don't want to have to run every single thing through the owner. So that seemed to be a bit of a deterrent for a lot of candidates, in my opinion, as well as the salary being offered, as it was reported that it was quite low compared to what most teams pay. So obviously Don Waddell was already acting as team president, so it was probably easier and probably cheaper for Dundon to go ahead with Waddell. Now I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with Don Waddell, depends on how long you've been a hockey fan and what teams you've followed, but he's mostly known, he's been with the Hurricanes for a little while now as team president. But his claim to fame is being the general manager for the Atlanta Thrashers for about a decade, or 10-11 seasons I think it was, from 99 up until 2010 I believe it was. Now the Carolina Hurricanes also recently hired Rick Dudley to be within their management group as well. And of course Rick Dudley has a history with Waddell. They were the two guys running the Atlanta Thrashers organization for a long time as well. Dudley succeeded Waddell as team general manager for their final season as Waddell was moved into a president type position. The new ownership group that brought in the Winnipeg Jets back to Winnipeg did not retain any of that management group. They ended up hiring obviously Kevin Cheveldayoff to be the GM and went with their own people. But Waddell and Dudley were the ones running the Thrashers for a long time, and we all know how much success that franchise had. They made the playoffs once during their existence. Obviously they came in 1999, ended up leaving in 2011, and in between they had one playoff berth and not a whole heck of a lot of success in between. So it kind of, a little bit of a head scratcher in a way. A little bit of a head scratcher to me why Tom Dundon would put these two guys in control. They don't exactly have the greatest track record. In my opinion, neither one of them really have any success building a winner. Dudley's bounced around working for a variety of organizations over the years, but still doesn't have the greatest track record with winning per se. When you put Dudley and Waddell together and their past experiences, they both have a ton of experience, just not a ton of success. And I was not a fan of how they ran the Thrashers organization at all. Obviously, I just don't feel they did a good job. Certainly made some questionable moves. And so that team, during its existence, only made the playoffs once, which isn't exactly a great track record. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities between the Thrashers and the Hurricanes. If you look at a lot of the issues that the Thrashers had as an organization, some people argued the location being a southern team, while Hurricanes are a southern team. Low-budget team, same thing. Like a lot of the same issues that were present in Atlanta are also somewhat present in the Hurricanes organization as well. A lot of the same challenges. Not to say that Tom Dundon as an owner will help them, hopefully give them the resources to overcome that. But, I don't know. This is a questionable move in my opinion, and I can't help but wonder that they go down this route for the GM due to lack of a better option. That's just my thoughts. You tell me what you think. Leave some comments down below. What do you think the Hurricanes hiring Waddell as general manager and bringing back Rick Dudley to work with them in the organization as well? As far as Rod Brind'Amour goes, I have nothing but respect and admiration for him. He was a tremendous hockey player, a hard-working guy. Pretty well as an assistant coach at the NHL level since he's been working with the Carolina Hurricanes. He's been with the organization for some time, so in a lot of ways it was easier to promote him knowing the system. He knows the players. He knows a lot about the organization. That to me is a good move, makes a lot of good sense. Doesn't come at any surprise at all. Rod Brind'Amour was widely expected to take over once Bill Peters announced his resignation and signed with the Calgary Flames. So that part, again, I have no problem with. I think it's a good hire. Doesn't come at any surprise. But at the general manager position, putting Dudley and Waddell in charge, I don't know, just doesn't seem quite right. I think there had to be better people out there, and I just can't help but wonder if the people that were interested from other organizations either didn't want to work for Dundon, they thought he was too much of a control freak, or they didn't like the salary that was offered, because there was a lot of reports out there indicating that he was not willing to pay very much. So leave your comments down below. Let me know, what do you think of these hires? I think the Canes will be in decent shape on the ice with their coach. I don't have a lot of confidence in the GM hire though, so let me know what you think as well. If you haven't done so already, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams. There's plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy, so subscribe if you're new. Don't forget as well to give this video a thumbs up if you like the content, and don't forget as well to check us out on Twitter. You're going to find our Twitter handle on the screen right here. We're very active on Twitter, love engaging in hockey conversations with all of our viewers, so check that out. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.